next on Eyewitness News.
The union contract for Jefferson Parish teachers has expired, and today they're set to voice their complaints at a school board meeting.
And if you live in Jefferson Parish, you can go green now. We'll tell you about the new recycling program starting this week. Plus,
extreme heat helps trigger damaging storms in the U.S. I'm Andrew Spencer, and I'll have that story coming up.
From WWL-TV, the spirit of Louisiana, this is Louisiana's news leader, Channel 4's Eyewitness News, Early Edition.
Good morning, I'm Mike Hoss.
And I'm Melanie Hebert. It is now Monday, July 2nd, and I'm so excited to be here on my first day.
I was going to say, this is a date we had circled for quite some time.
On
July
my calendar,
2nd, on our calendars as well. You've been with us really since January.
Behind the scenes.
Behind the scenes, doing a lot of stuff, reporting. But now,
and social media. We have to
right.
start tweeting and Facebooking this morning. Yeah, so I'm so
doing that in the commercial work. You're getting ready.
That's right. Took a picture of it. I'm just trying to get it to Facebook here.
I'll give you a second to send it out. We'll go ahead and talk about the weather real quick and what's going to happen today. And we are going to see some warm weather again. Temperatures so far this morning at around 80 degrees, give or take a degree or two. City Park at Christian Brothers School, 78 right here in New Orleans, and in the French Quarter we're at 80 degrees, and in Metairie we're at 78 as well. The forecast today, well, we'll say 94 degrees with a 20% rain chance. But I do have a little bit of good news.
Hey.
We're going to get a little bit closer to normal temperatures, some lower 90s for the next few days.
Well, we'll take what we can get.
Well, that's about all you can hope for.
That's right. It's July in New Orleans.
That's the thing. It's July. It's just a matter of time.
It is
when
what
we start
it
getting
is.
the record-breaking temperatures again. Thanks, Laura. You know, today is a day that Jefferson Parish teachers hoped would never come. For the first time in decades, they're not under contract.
And as Monica Hernandez reports, teachers are worried about what could come next.
I have a very unsettling feeling. I have never worked in Jefferson without a teacher contract.
But as of today, that's exactly what Joyce Blunt, along with every other teacher in the Jefferson Parish school system, is doing.
I don't know what the school system's serious intentions are, even though we are in negotiations.
Blunt is among those who sit at the bargaining table. She hopes a new contract will be in effect by the start of the school year.
It's going in a positive manner.
Shame on you! Teachers were outraged when the school board voted last month to let the contract expire. The board said it conflicted with controversial state education reforms that go into effect today, but union officials had hoped salary and benefits would carry over.
I think we want to send the message to the board that the teachers do want their contract and they do want to negotiate in good faith, and we want to move forward.
The lack of a contract is teachers' latest cause for concern, but it's not the only one. This is one of 7 schools the school board opted to close to fill a $25 million budget gap, but that leaves hundreds of teachers and support staff potentially without jobs as of today.
But what was most unprofessional about Jefferson Parish Public School System doing this, they notified teachers by email. So impersonal. We are professionals.
Union officials say many of those who received notices that their jobs may be eliminated have secured spots at other schools in the district. At this point, though, it's unclear how many teachers and staff members will be laid off. Meanwhile, those like Blunt hope the unrest will end soon. Monica Hernandez, Channel 4 Eyewitness News.
Now, Acting Superintendent James Meza tells us that they will continue to negotiate with teachers. He says no tenured teachers have been terminated, and he anticipates the majority, if not all of the teachers, will be rehired.
Now, the teachers plan to hold a rally today at 4:30 in front of Bonneville Magnet High School. That's just before the school board is scheduled to meet in a special session. Well, the bins have been delivered and recycling is set to restart in Jefferson Parish this week. For residents on the East Bank, your recycling will be picked up on your first garbage day of the week. West Bank residents will see their recycling picked up on their second garbage collection day. Now, most everything will be accepted except for glass, plastic grocery bags, styrofoam egg cartons, and packing peanuts, and food and beverage containers that have that wax coating like milk cartons. Jefferson Parish is also adding special markers to its storm drains. The markers will warn residents not to dump chemicals in them because they empty into Lake Pontchartrain as well as the wetlands. You can recycle used motor oil and other fluids for free. There are 2 sites, 400 David Drive in Metairie and 6440 Lapalco Boulevard in Marrero. Those locations are open Tuesday through Sunday from 10 o'clock until 6:30.
A number of new sheriffs are starting their first day on the job today after swearing-in ceremonies were held across the metro area. Jimmy Pullman is the first new sheriff in St. Bernard Parish in almost 3 decades. He's taking over for Jack Stevens, who held the post since 1984. Pullman says after serving as chief deputy for 4 years, he's familiar with the leadership role and he's ready to stick around for a while. Other sheriffs starting new jobs today include Lonnie Greco taking over for Jeff Hingle in Plaquemines Parish. Randy Seal will be inaugurated today in Washington Parish, and Mike Trigg takes over the sheriff's post in St. John. Plus, Jerry Larpenter returns to the office he held for 22 years, replacing former Terrebonne Parish Sheriff Vernon Bourgeois. Bourgeois decided not to seek a second term.
The new clerk of court for Terrebonne Parish is making history. She's the first woman to ever be elected to parish-wide office there. Teresa Robichaud was sworn in over the weekend. She's also the first new clerk of court for Terrebonne Parish in 50 years. Robichaud, who plans to upgrade technology in the office, was sworn in by her predecessor, Bobby Boudreau. And it was a busy weekend for people getting new posts. The Zulu Social Aid and Pleasure Club swore in its new president. New Orleans native Naaman Stewart takes over for President David Belfield. Officials say Stewart joined the club at a very young age. He's been a member of Zulu for 21 years and is one of its youngest presidents.
We know the fishermen are watching this morning. They get up early, and we have good news for you out there. The bad weather brought by Tropical Storm Debbie has actually led wildlife officials to extend the recreational red snapper season. NOAA's Fisheries Service says rough seas from the storm prevented sportsmen from taking advantage of the first part of the season, so they decided to extend the season by 6 days. That means the red snapper season that was set to end on July 10th will now end on July 17th.
Now to our top national and international headlines, and it's some good news as well for some Colorado residents.
That's right. More people are now being allowed to return home today after raging wildfires forced evacuations. About 7,000 residents have returned home. Now, this comes as firefighting crews were able to get the Waldo Canyon fire about 55% contained. Still, some residents will have nothing to return to. Hundreds of homes have been destroyed. Extreme heat in the central and eastern U.S. helped fuel thunderstorms that knocked out power to millions.
Yeah, what a brutal weekend. It's also responsible for at least the deaths of 16 people over the weekend. Andrew Spencer has more.
Misery in a wide stretch of the U.S. with days and days of dangerous, record-breaking heat. Then a series of severe thunderstorms late Friday into Saturday, knocking out power to about 4 million customers. Crews are working to restore electricity, but more than 1 million customers are still without power as they try to cope with the heat. That means no air conditioning and no new ice. A grocery store chain tried to help in parts of Virginia and Maryland on Sunday, giving away 10-pound bags of ice to those in need. A storm victim says it's nice to see everyone coming together.
We like the fact that the community's sort of gathering together to try to be helpful. At traffic lights, people are treating them as stop signs. People have been clearing debris from the roads together. So we like the sense of community, but we would like our power back just because it's so hot and because we're ready to get back to normal if we possibly can.
Destruction from the storms has prompted 4 governors to declare a state of emergency. I'm Andrew Spencer reporting.
As for the deaths, 13 people were killed Friday and Saturday, and another 3 died Sunday afternoon after a fresh batch of storms. Now, all of them were linked to downed trees, except for the electrocution of a man in Washington. Looking forward, temperatures in some places in the heat wave region are expected to be slightly cooler today.
And this morning there is news out of Afghanistan. Officials say 3 NATO service members are dead this morning after a man in an Afghan police uniform shot them. There's no word on the nationalities of the 3, and the incident is currently under investigation. That brings the total number of NATO troops killed this year to 218. Meanwhile, Afghan police are also looking into a roadside bomb that struck a packed bus, killing 5 civilians and wounding 11 other people. Iran State TV is reporting that a 5.4 magnitude earthquake hit the eastern part of that country this morning. People poured into the streets in fear as the quake shook a town about 600 miles from the country's capital. There's no word on any casualties or heavy damage in that area. The area is said to be sparsely populated. Iran is located on a seismic fault line, making it prone to quakes. In fact, on average, the country experiences at least one a day.
And in Mexico, the Institutional Revolutionary Party has reason to celebrate today. It's been voted back into office for the first time in more than a decade. Enrique Peña Nieto is expected to become the country's newest president. Experts say voters have become fatigued by Mexico's sluggish economy, as well as a drug war that has killed an estimated 50,000 people over the last 6 years.
4:40 now. There's no end to the new workout fads that come out seemingly every day.
All right, get your pen and paper out. The latest
right.
one relies on a bar. We'll show you how one group is taking techniques used by dancers and using them to slim down. Plus,
I'm Alexis Christoforous. We'll see if stocks can continue the positive momentum and why tax fraud is on the rise. That and more in your CBS Money Watch.
We're starting a new work week, and it looks like some better rain chances ahead for us this week. We'll have the full details coming up right after the break.